I'm going to be brutally honest with you. There are some games that for me, they're just so difficult that I don't even see myself finishing them. Now, the thing is that if it was a game that is just amazing, I would probably dedicate a lot of time to it. I mean, I do it in so many Souls games or Souls-like games, which are very difficult for me, but I still stay until the end. But even then, there are some classic games that I died more times than I died than any Soul game that I play. Seriously, it's just brutally hard. Now, of course, I'm aware of the reason they made it. Many games are basically inherited from arcades, were designed to actually to eliminate players quickly so they can just spend more money, more coins. Also, in the things related to the rental market, so this can prevent tough games, prevent kids from actually beating a game over a single weekend. In other words, if you couldn't finish it, you were most likely to buy the game. And of course, there's some other things related to hardware limitations. You couldn't really put a really big game, so they made short games but made them harder. So for example, like a game that you maybe could finish like in 30 minutes, it would take me maybe 40 hours in order to finish it. Anyway, probably other reasons, but the point is that there are games, many games, classic games, that are very difficult. Some of them are way more difficult than I thought or I remembered them to be. Now, in some way, I feel like I'm missing something. There are so many games I want to play, and if I'm just going to get stuck at the game so long, and it's not really an amazing game that I really totally immersed in, I feel like, I'm going to miss some really great things maybe down the road playing this game, but at the same time, I'm going to miss some other games that otherwise I would have played if I was able to finish those games faster. So what are the solutions? Well, you can always postpone and play them later. What I do, by the way, in Souls game, if I feel like, I'm frustrated and the boss kills me every single time. And get better, of course. But the easiest way is, well, first of all, you can find some of these games available on modern consoles. So you have different things like save states and rewind. Now, this, of course, significantly increases the completion rate for these games. But there are many people who just don't have a lot of time to play these games. So, they still want to experience it. Don't let one really hard part of the game just cause them to just stop playing the game. They really want to reach the end. But this is, by the way, true also for modern games. For modern games, around 30 to 38% of players actually see the credits of modern games. The way we know it, because modern games have achievements, so you can see the achievement for finishing the game, and you can see that not many people are actually finishing them. And many people use emulation that also allows them to do this thing and use different feature that allows them to save the state of the game and just rewind it and just continue when to fail. Or even in certain situations, even skip a certain level, just go to the next one. And I also read that the average retro gamer demographic is approximately 36 to 40 years old, meaning people have less time and they rely on these things that I mentioned for convenience. And when you think about some of the reasons why the games are that difficult, it's kind of collide with, well, I'm going to play the way it meant to be played. People talk about so many things regarding, the visuals like CRT and enjoying the game the way it was designed to be played. But, sometimes they play the game not the way the game was designed to be played. But I can understand the reason. I can definitely understand this point of view. Even some of these games inherently designed to make players fail so they can just pay more when they are in the arcades and they brought the game into our homes. We feel cheated to a certain degree. So in other words, artificial difficulty. And many of the sources that I searched, and again, independently confirm the same thing. Arcade difficulty was a business model. And many console games were actually direct arcade ports. And developers kept the difficulty to extend playtime on short game due to the cartridge memory limits. And it also aligned with player expectation to get the arcade-like challenge. But the bottom line is it doesn't matter, because again, if you get stuck, you get stuck. It doesn't matter what it is, and you feel frustrated, you still want to continue and finishing the game. It doesn't really matter the reason. You just want to continue because maybe you enjoyed the game, but there's something that actually prevents you from actually progressing and enjoying it fully, and you don't want to quit. I see this all the time in modern games. Like many people ask for others to help them, for example, in Souls game, like in Elden Ring, I saw it a lot. I actually finished this solo because I really wanted to get good. But there are many people who just can't beat certain bosses, and I also helped them as well, putting the sign on the ground, and I just went there and helped them out. But some games, I just would never do it. For example, when I play Golden Axe Warrior on the Sega Master System, there are situations, this game is like a Zelda game, like Zelda 1 game, but harder, much harder. And basically I really want to finish it normally. I mean, there are ways I could have done it, but of course I need to buy certain equipment in order to do it. I didn't want to. Now, because my favorite subgenre is of the action RPG is Souls-like games, I actually really want to get challenged. But there are some genres, games that for me, just I just can't. Like for example, some platformers, it doesn't matter what I'm gonna do. It's just it's just total frustration. And the other thing is, there are games that were designed to finish in one set, on one sit, or in one go. Another option, which is usually the last option, is just stop playing the game. Now, this is the worst solution, of course, for games that I want to finish, and let's say it like that, it didn't happen yet. And some of the games I'm actually struggling because of the controller. I bought also new controllers that are coming, so hopefully this will help out for some. And this is me to talk about, well, some games can be improved if you purchase modern accessories, mainly controllers. For example, when I play Super Command on the Sega Master System, I mean, the controls that I got are old, and it feels like it. And aside from that, ergonomic-wise, they're okay, but the D-pad is not perfect, especially not for diagonal move. Now, I can buy, of course, others, and hopefully it'll be in better shape, but the thing is that finding something that is alternative and modernly built can be just something that can solve the issue for certain games. Now, of course, getting good in certain situations is the way out, but it's not the easiest way out. And like many things in real life, not everything is perfect. And even if we plan it aside, well, it also depends on our skill to in certain games and other factors that some of them we either don't have control of. And maybe the other solution, either that are not accessible to us, or we just prefer not using them. But I think if you're struggling, I think the better thing to start with is actually looking up maps, guides, walkthroughs. And if you just don't mind playing on modern consoles or PC, of course, you can just go and play on different ports or even remastered versions of the game, where you're probably going to get maybe, autosaves, better controls, some quality of life improvements, optional hints, and more. But for the more purist among us, well, I recommend, again, following guidelines and everything else that I mentioned before, but try to, break the game into short sessions and, just to avoid burnout. But there are alternatives just in case nothing else works for you. But if you have other tips for other players who are struggling with difficulty of classic game, I want to hear your thoughts and tips in the comment section below. I'm pretty sure you're going to have some really interesting things to add in this topic for some of you who struggle in certain games but don't want to miss out on many of these games. Let us know in the comment section below. Thank you. Cheers.